Palentine's Day. Who we got in the chat here this morning? Nice to see you. Who's tuning in this morning for Happy Palentine's Day here on the Bro Show? It's February the 14th. Thanks for you folks for joining me here on the stream, if you know what I mean. It's going to be a bit of a good show here today. You know it is. Are you folks up and at it here this morning? Let's get ready to go. Start your engines and kick the dog here this morning. Got things to do, places to go, people to see, and magic cards to discuss with you folks here this morning. Do you like tracking the prices of magic cards? Is there enough information out there, or is there just too much darn information? Let me do it for you. I'm here on the morning show each and every day. For those of you folks who like to crack open packs and shuffle up stacks of Magic the Gathering cards, it's not that hard to join me here on the morning show, and I want to thank each and every one of you for doing so. Row your boat gently down the stream here this morning. It's Palentine's Day. Won't you be my Palentine here this morning? Love ya. Cardboard, the splendor. Friender be splendor. Nice to see you here, Splendor. Let's start the chat off right. How do vampires know it's love at first bite? And what did the painter say to his girlfriend? I love you with all my art. Well, if it's art you like, if it's art you seek, if it's Magic the Gathering cool designs, then this is the place to get it. Folks, you know what we like to do here on the morning show. We're going to warm up just a little bit here this morning with a little bit of AI-generated magic cards. So let's take a look at some art. Loving the stream with all our art this morning. You know the rules. Let's have a little sip of coffee before we kick this into first gear. If the card is playable any way whatsoever, even if it's a little bit overcosted, if it's a functional magic card, then you're going to hear this sound. The sound of the dinger. Not the singer, but the dinger. And if the card is got any gibberish on it whatsoever, if it's non-functional junk text, we're going to fail it so fast, faster than some escargot. You hear this sound. The sound of the buzzing, cousin. All right, welcome you folks to the stream. Let's take a look here by way of the stock desk here this morning. What do we got over at Robo Rosewater? Rosewater Stone. We've got Run BRD here this morning. We're running the Brody stream here, large and in charge here this morning. What have we got? The Sunlight Storm. Very nice. Excessive buzzing, please. All right. Okay. That'll get you going. Let's hit it. That's right. What did I get you for Valentine's Day, Coach? One of these. That's right. Morning, Brody, Alfonso. Excessive buzzing. Let's get it. Let's get a little bit of a buzz here in the stream. And those of you folks tuning in here this morning, we've got a Sunlight Storm brewing in it. It looks like a basketball, doesn't it? It is a baller. This is a Sunlight Storm. This looks more like a basketball to me. I'll take it, though. I will take it, bake it, and shake it. An artifact, a blue one with 1 blue and 4 for the casting cost whenever you sacrifice a non-snow permanent. Return up to 1 target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. When Sunlight Storm is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, draw a card. Ball to me, Gerard. Ball. How you doing, Anger? Good morning. Nice to see you. Balling on a budget here this morning on the Brody Alfonso show, the most talented live stream you're going to find here on Magic the Gathering cards here this morning. We're balling. Ball to me, Gerard. Ball to me. What do you think? Whenever you sacrifice a non-snow permanent, yeah, kind of situational. Return up to one target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to their hand. This thing's quite good. So I gave you some pre-buzzing there, Coach, but this is going to be the ding, I think. When Sudden-like Storm is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, draw a card. It seems okay. I think I want to give it a pass. I think I want to pass this. This seems okay to me. What do the paper clips say to the magnet? I find you very attractive. Now, what does a scientist say to her Valentine? I think of you periodically. Let's check this out. Next one, up for bid. We've got the Stormclaw Weird. This is weird. Past the basketball, making some buckets here this morning on the morning show with you folks. Happy Palentines. Nice to see you, pals, in the stream here this morning. I think we've got ourselves a weird card here. Stormclaw Weird. 2 white and 5 for this one. Flying whenever a source deals damage to Stormclaw Weird. That source's controller reveals their hand and discards all non-land cards. Whenever a source deals damage to Stormclaw Weird, that source's controller reveals their hand and discards all non-land cards for 5/5. Ooh, this thing's awesome. FYI, I use your video thumbnail in my video when talking about serialization. Awesome. So this would be interesting on a creature to give it some bit of a downside for touching it. Don't touch my creature. No touchy, my Stormclaw Weird. You touch it, the Angel Artificer 5/5, then you got to reveal your hand and discard all non-land cards if you deal damage to it. That actually seems pretty good. It's busted. It's a little bit longer and stronger than the average Magic card. Let's give this a pass. And just for you, Coach, because it's Valentine's Day, we're going to give you a buzz because you wanted the extra buzzing. No weird touches, right? Exactly. No touchy, looky, but no touchy. All right, everybody's a winner here. Everyone's a winner, baby. That's no lie. Yeah, it's no lie. OP, fair, underpowered. I'm gonna go with fair, but I'm fair warning. Fair warning. Can I get a $5 bid up on a $10 card or a $15 bid up on a tie? This is gonna be. It's fair. It is fair. 73.2% of Magic the Gathering players agree, and 14.67% women also agree that card is fair. Grappling Single. Oh, this is such a sad Magic card for Valentine's Day. This card is Grappling Single. Oh my goodness. What has it got? No mana cost. It's a land. Of course it's got no mana cost. Okay, I almost missed that. Land. Oh, there's land in them hills, Brody. What do we got here? Grappling Single. Wow. Speaking of singing, what did a romantic sing after she got a paper cut? I keep bleeding, I keep bleeding love to you. What did one cat say to another on Valentine's Day? You're perfect. And this card is just about perfect. What did the watermelon say to the cantaloupe? You're one in a melon. Single with a biological clock ticking. Grappling Single. Take. It's a land that says take. They take no more times this game with an opponent. They take no more times this game with an opponent. Take your time. Take your time with this card here. All right, let's fail it. Got to get it out of here. Coach wants excessive buzzing this morning. You shall not be denied. Wherever you are, folks, the buzzing will continue until subscribership improves. Let's get this moving now. Fair OP, underpowered, junk and funk here this morning. Good morning, Twid. The Twiddler's in the house, folks. Is there a game tonight? Is Wednesday? Perhaps there is. This is going to start off exactly where we ended off last week. Oh, Mega Raza's Mastery. This one's got a lot of books and a lot of pages and a lot of ripping outage. I wonder if she can read, or maybe that's the frustration. Perhaps she's just doodling in the covers of this book here, but this is the Instant Speed XL. This is the funny one. It could have been last night, Brody. Last night was the game. I missed it. Ugh. I caught the dual brain stream yesterday during about noon. The prophecy box break. I am ristically challenged. That's the fact. If you didn't know that, Brody's ristically challenged. Didn't get a ristic study. Sadly, one of the few people. Me and Kylan Perdon were sitting on the bench, warming the ristic bench warmer. I keep missing Twig's plays. Twig. Well, happy Palentine's Day to me and you, Mr. Twiddler. You can be my Palentine. You can join us here this morning for a little bit of a good time. Not all day long, but a good time and a fine time. This one's got some weird text on it, okay? I think they could have worded this differently, but it says, for 1 blue and 2 at instant speeds, exile the top card of your library. You draw 2 cards, draw a card, then discard 3 cards, then draw 2 cards. Now, Banristic Study? Coach. Coach. You don't want to pay the 1? Did you pay the 1? There's a lot of good memes with that. So this could say you draw 3 cards, then discard 3, then draw 2. But the way it's worded is kind of funny. Draw 2 cards, then draw a card, then discard 3, then draw 2. It could say just draw 3, discard 3, and then draw 2 more. But nonetheless, it seems fine. Let's give it a pass. But just for you, Coach, we'll also give it one of these. Excessive buzzing was requested here this morning in the stream. And the Spectral Slayer. Slaying and playing here on the stream. It's Palentine's Day, and we're getting ready to rock and roll. I feel good. I feel warmed up. I feel like I'm ready to eat some chow. Yes. Yes. Get some breakfast in you here. Breakfast in bed? Perhaps do something nice. Do something nice for a loved one. This Palentine's Day, I want to thank each and every one of you folks for joining me here this morning on the Brody Alfonso Morning Magic the Gathering Talks and Stock Show. I got a news article for you folks here this morning. It's going to be fantastical. It's going to be good. You like to track the prices of Magic cards? You like to look at the finance side of things? Tune into the morning show. If you like cracking packs and shuffling stacks of Magic the Gathering cards, you've come to the right place. Speaking of old school Magic the Gathering, all right, trigger alert. I saw some videos about old school Magic yesterday. Now, FYI, you cannot talk about old school Magic the Gathering without mentioning Brian Wiseman, okay? A fella who's just fantastic. And I'm going to put a link in the I'm going to put a link in the chat for those folks of you who have not gone there. If you folks, the Brian Wiseman, if you have not tuned in over there, I would suggest you do it. I'm going to put a link in the chat for you folks today. Happy Palentine's Day. MTG Gaming Bob's here. All right. Nice. Okay, so if you get a chance, I would check out this fella here, the Brian Wiseman. You cannot, and I saw a video yesterday. It was a good video. It was talking about old school Magic the Gathering, but I can't help but think like we can't discuss old school Magic the Gathering without discussing Brian Wiseman and how much he's gone and done for the game of Magic the Gathering and is still doing to this day. The man who pioneered the deck and is doing reviews on old school Magic the Gathering tournaments, as well as getting into Commander and bringing some of that old school type of play patterns to the game of Magic the Gathering that we saw in old school and in vintage and early on in the day. So I think it's a little bit of a necessary to hit up Brian, pay a little bit of thank yous to that man who does some very interesting. He went 97 wins in a row with his new commander deck. It's called the Streak until he finally lost one and broke the streak. I think it's 96 or 97 wins in a row with his commander deck that he's currently running. So that seems very good. I don't know about you, but 97 games in a row without a loss, it's actually so it's worth mentioning, right? I don't know anybody who's done 97 games in a row without a loss. So check them out. Like I say, we can't discuss old school Magic the Gathering without discussing a little, at least mentioning the fella and where to get some insight and some tech on it. That's definitely the place to go. Happy Palentine's, Bob. Nice to see you. That's not buzzing this B-Day, it's vibrato. 97 wins in a row is just evil. All right, Evil Knievel. Let's get into some hidden gems here this morning. I want to take you folks to an article here this morning by way of Stock Desk. This one's from Adam Berg, and I'm interested to share it with you here this morning. We're hitting an iceberg here this morning. Hit up Adam, let him know Brody sent you, and also Brian Wiseman. If you hit him up over there, say, hey, Brody Alfonso sent me. Nice to see you. All right, let's head on over to the stock desk. 98 losses. I know I can throw up a 98 loss streak, no problem. That's what I'm here for. I'll just take the beatings, and the beatings will continue until subscribership improves. I had 98 losses in a row, but that just doesn't carry the same prestige. Yes, I've gone without a win in Magic the Gathering for 17 years. 99 losses in a row. Don't ruin this for me, right? All right, let's take a look at some hidden gems for Voyagers of the Conclave. On behalf of Adam Berg, he's bringing us this article for February 12th. Well, you know it's the 14th today, so it's funny. I would have read this one yesterday because it came out, and then just when the stream ended, it was launched. So it's like the article was just a minute under the wire for me to read it yesterday, but today is a whole new day, and I've got something fancy for you folks here. Very fancy. I've got my fanciest news article on today. By way of Adam Berg, on behalf of the Voyagers of the Conclave, let me welcome you to the Hidden Gems, where we dig up some overlooked and underappreciated cards for Commander. Get your friendship bracelets ready, because today we're diving into the symbiotic bond between wolves and elves. Welves, I call them. Wolves and elves, welves, the Voyagers of the Conclave. Here's a card that came out just in the new Murders of the Karlov Manor set. It's quite nice. It's a 5/5. It's a Naya and 2. I was very, very excited to see this card. I was very excited because I like Garruk. I like wolves. I like the indestructible wolf, whatever one that one is, the one that, sacrifice a food token, the fighty wolf, yes. I like the wolves. I would like to build a wolves deck, but wolves tribal is just a little bit lacking in the game of Magic the Gathering. And then entereth this beauty jewel of a card here. Entereth Voil the Jaws of the Conclave. Welcome. Morning, my dudes. Happy Palentines to you, Mr. Benson. It's nice to see you here. Benson and friends, nice to see you. Happy Palentines to all the pals in the chat. So this 5/5 Wolfie support card, it's vigilancy, it's vigilant and it's trample. It's got trampolines and ward 3. So you got to pay 3 to target this sucker. And when Voyagers of the Conclave attacks, you get to put X/1/1 counters on each creature you control. What? Where X is the number of elves you control. Draw a card for each wolf you control. So Wolf's getting some really, really good support here. And Naya, especially with this commander, the Voyagers of the Conclave, not too pretty bad. So let's give it for the coach. Let's give it one of these, a dinger, a flinger. Okay, first step to building this deck is to find the best elves and wolves. I recommend focusing on the elves since there are... Let's see here. Focus on the elves since there are a lot, and you really don't need to draw that many cards from Voya each turn to really grind out value. The poor pool of elves is a bit shallow and filled with wolf hair. The pool of elf cards is shallow and filled with wolf's hair. So a quick look at EDH Rec will show us all the ones that are wolf-wild. Valentine's Day is a conspiracy perpetuated by big greeting card companies. It is. It's let's perpetuate that a little bit more. Okay, step 2 is to take advantage of combat. Extra combat steps get you multiple triggers, but I'm going to throw back to the original Ravnica for my first list of recommendations. All right, we got the Master Warcraft. This one doesn't give you an extra combat, though. Whatever, Vigilance, Trample, War, draw a card. No. But if we were to get extra combat, how would we like to do that? How would you like your extra combat step? Could I get an eggs? Frick me. I could go for an Eggs Benedict this morning. Oh, golly. Benson, you and me, we're going for Eggs Benny here this morning. I think we should do it. We should do it. Go for a little Eggs Benny. Go for a trip to the restaurante. Maybe Cupid. All right. What's this Master of Warcraft? An instant. Master of Warcraft, 4 mana instant. Ooh, it's a Boros. Smells funny. Tastes like chicken. Boros. Boros. All right. You can play Master of Warcraft before attackers are declared. You choose which creatures attack this turn. What? You choose which creatures attack this turn, and you choose how each creature blocks this turn. So you get to just decide who attacks what and where they attack. Cool. Brain is here. Happy Palentine's Day, buddy. Nice to see you. We're talking about wolves. We're talking about this card, Voya, the Jaws of the Conclave. We're talking about elves and support for Wolf Tribal and Elf Tribal and Commander. We're going straight to this card, the Master of the Warcraft, by way of stock test. This article coming to you from Madam Berg. 75 centavos. This one, not too expensive. Not too offensive and expensive. Not a lot of spells that you tamper with combat as much as this little trick, this effect that lasts a whole turn, and it makes extra combat steps even more safe for our good boy to pump the team and draw some cards. But Master of Warcraft isn't just about manipulating combat to protect your creatures. You can play it on your opponent's turn to control their line of attack and also kill other opponents' creatures. How you choose, how everything fights. With a big enough board, it could very well be 4 mana Plague Wind. Plague Wind? Plaguing? Let's see here. Plague Wind. Destroy all creatures you don't control. They can't be regenerated. Well, Plague Wind is 9. You choose which creatures attack this turn. If you choose how each creature blocked this turn. So with the extra combat step, it's quite... leave Benson dicked out of this. All right, so if you get extra combat steps, this Master Warcraft, it lasts until the end of the turn. So not just one combat step. If you can loop combat steps and get an extra one, this is your timing on the stream yesterday was uncanny. I know, my ears were burning. Okay, so yesterday, I knew the box break was coming. I sent the funds. I still got to do shipping, but hold on to my stuff. Don't ship it. Okay. I had an extra thing come up yesterday, and I was like, oh man, I thought I could be done early and I'll catch the stream. It'll be great. I'll just hang back, have some lunch, and catch the stream. But then I was like, I had an extra task to do, and I was like, nope, I'm taking a break. I'm taking 5. Walked in, hit the button, and then bam, there's Dual Brain opening an entire box of Prophecy. That was so cool, though. I mean, I never seen somebody weigh packs like that. I didn't think that was a thing. That's next. That is the next level. Next level big brain play. I did not know that you could weigh packs, those older packs, and then you could discern which packs had the foils in them. So it's very good of you to explain that to folks when you're doing a box break, especially the fact that you say, okay, we're doing a box break, we're going to open the whole box. Because of that little trick there with opening just an individual pack, you could just imagine how some shady folks out there in a store would open the box, weigh all the packs, find the foils, and then just sell the rest of them. So I learned something incredibly important yesterday. So thank you very much. That was some next level big brain stuff that we had discussed on the stream there yesterday. So thank you. Thank you for that. And we will definitely catch the next one. Prophecy, a very good box, especially since Coach loves Ristic Studies so much. Let's take a look at this Marath Will of the Wild. Will of the Wild. It's a beast. It's a Beastie Boy? I love the Beastie Boys. The Beastie Boys will be coming home, they coming home. There's another Naya card. No need to deny ya of this Naya legendary creature spell. The elemental beast is a 0/0 for 3. Holy moly. Let's gotta read this a little farther because this is getting a little too hard. 7 heuristics. Stone Pony's here. Nice to see you. Thank you, Stone. Happy Palentine's Day. You can be my Palentine. March Will of the Wild enters the Marath Will of the Wild enters the battlefield with a number of 1/1 counters on it equal to the amount of mana you spend to cast it. Okay, so 3. unless you have to pay like the Ristic. Unless you're paying for Ristic, right? Or you've got something like a Thorn of the Amethyst effect, or if you've got something like a tax card, everything's going to cost one more. Then you can pay X, remove X 1/1 counters from Marath, choose one, put X +1/+1 counters on target creature, or Marath deals X damage to target creature or player, or put an XX green elemental creature token onto the battlefield. This is some token shit. What is this Marath Wind of the Wild token? He's doing some shenanigans. We're doing it all the time. Ristic does increase this cost, though, right? Right? We want to pay a little more for this. So it comes in the battlefield with some 1/1 counters on it. Hard to get behind this type of creature deck. I'm sorry, but I like some instants and sorceries and some jank. But this seems okay. So let's say everything is working well. Your elves are getting counters on it. Your wolves are getting your cards. And now what? You just combat again and again. Great plan A, but it's always important to have a backup plan. That's what I was thinking. I'm like, what do? You just get the wolves online and you're going to win through combat. Okay, fortunately, there's plenty of ways to spend your +1/+1 counters. Marath gives you a lot of them. Lots of utility there with Marath, and it can take and create an army. Shoot down creatures, planeswalkers, battles, players, and move counters somewhere that's more useful. Just remember, X can't be 0, so there's no easy trick to pull with the likes of Hardened Scales. Thanks, errata. It has that errata. But that being said, trying to weigh packs and trusting to sell the loose ones is some shenanigans. Yes, who will lose money doesn't stop people from trying. Exactly, shenanigans. We like to look out for shenanigans. But I didn't know about that potential shenanigan. I could have been shenaned over that shenanigan. Only once though, because then it's like you got a shenan, and then if it happens a second time, I think there's a Bushism about this. You can shenan me once, but you can't shenan again. Just one shenan. All right. Shenan me once, and I can't get shenan again. The biggest threat to creature-based decks is board wipes. Resourceful defense. This one costs 1 white and 2. Enchantment card whenever a permanent you control leaves the battlefield. If it had counters on it, put those counters on target permanent you control. 4 and a white, move any number of counters from target permanent you control to another target permanent you control. So this thing moves stuff around. How about the Ozlith? That's what I think of when we're talking about moving counters around. But nevertheless, this is another way to do it. Resourceful defense. This is from the Commander set. How much is this card? Everything we're talking about here for this support for the Wolves is like $5 for this one. This is like the most cheap. Shenan me, shame on you. Shenan me twice, you can't shenan again. That's right. Okay, the biggest threat to creature-based decks is board wipes. So don't wipe it unless you type it. The mass exile effects like Sunfall becoming... Oh, let's read the Sunfall. I love looking at these articles because there's new cards and then there's other stuff. Exile all creatures. Incubate X, where X is the number of creatures exiled this way. Xe. This card is like your X-best friend. Sunfall, and another one is that was really popular is Settle the Wreckage. That's another one, right? No shenanigans. Okay, so we're talking about creature-based decks, Wolf Tribal, Elf Tribal, and this new Wolfy boy as our Naya commander. Exile effects and mass board wipes are very, very good against creature decks. So they're becoming more common. Phasing is the best new way to protect your board. Sorry, heroic intervention are becoming common. Phasing is the best new way to protect. Phasing is not new. I'm afraid to say this, but I guess the new way. I'm telling you folks, and I've been saying this for a while, and I've been going back down the reserve list a few times to find cards like Rainbow Efreet, another card that has phasing on it. Shrieking Drake, I think, is another one. There's a few cards in like Shimmer, a card that phases out lands. Phasing is going to be relevant again and again. It's going to come back. It's going to be more relevant than ever. I'm telling you. some phasing shenanigans. All right, there's more specific tools for Voja. Voya or Voja? Voja. I need some mispronunciations. Voja. Voja? Let's just call it Vuja, right? In case you missed it, the Ozlith got a new enchantment copycat in resource defense. If your creatures get exiled, you can keep all the counters. I did mention the Ozlith. Very nicely done, Adam Berg. Katabatic Winds is busted in Commander Rays, phasing enchantment. Yes, it is. Yeah, so I would look back at some of those cheaper cards that have phasing and definitely look to pick some of them up if they're on the reserve list, because all it's going to take is phasing to actually like make a reoccurrence in a new set and have some synergies with cards that that are older and out of print, and then we're going to see some of that stuff move. Eventually, it's going to happen. All right, keeping the Ozlith around, keeping your counters around, you get to play Vuja again. Load him up with counters, and suddenly you're back in the game. Plus, Vuja has trample. One swing might just be enough to kill something with commander damage. Slip Out the Back is the best phasing card, in my opinion. Slip Out the Back? Well, now I'm going to have to look that up. All right, we'll slip that one in at the back of the stream for you, Benson. Katabatic Winds, a good one. Realm Seekers. What are we seeking here this morning? Seeking a little bit of conspiracy this morning. Realm Seekers enters the battlefield with X+1/+1 counters on it, where X is the total number of cards in all players' hands. Pay a green and 2, removing a 1/1 counter from Realm Seekers. Search your library for a land card, reveal it, put it in your hand, then shuffle. E-I-O, this Elf Scout. This seems okay. Except it's got an activated ability. Speaking of, happy Palentine's Day, MTG Hillbilly. Nice to see you, pal. Will you be my Palentine? 50 cents for this one. 50 cent. Okay, go 50, go 50. It's your birthday. It's Valentine's Day. Lastly, we'll remind you about this little card. We'll remind you about this little card right here. It's at a nice intersection of being an elf, and it also cares about +1/+1 counters and card advantage. You can use it to tutor for any land. Kessig the Wolf Run, Mutavault, Rogue's Passage, making the unblockability, and Reliquary Tower giving you max hand size. You name it. It fits right. It fits a right good into the deck synergies and can help you find the right tool for whatever situation you and Vuja find yourself in. Until next time, enjoy wearing elf ears and wandering into the woods, of befriending an animal, of whatever it is your kids are doing these days. Just don't forget to check out the premium content here provided by Adam Berg. I'm going to have to follow him over on X, a man who has started playing Magic on his 14th birthday. The Judgment was released and the game's first Gorgon was born. It's a girl. Since then, he's delved deep into Commander, written for television, film, and learned how to drive. Those are some good accomplishments. Published 2 YA fantasy novels and Rainbringer and the Broken Pantheon. His favorite card is Repay in Kind, which is really all you need to know. Very nice. Oh man, it's a classic. He bumbled that badly on video. It's a classic. Shenanigans. That's right. So, thank you for this article there, Adam. I appreciate that. That's very nice. Very nice. Very nice. Appreciate that. All right. All you folks tuning in here this morning, it's Palentine's Day. Happy Palentines to all my pals out there. If you're tuning in, I have one question to ask you. Una pregunta, por favor. Machik vragya. Do you like tracking the prices of Magic cards? Is there enough information out there, or is there just too much of it? Too much information? Let me do it for you. I'm here on the morning show talking Magic the Gathering articles, prices of Magic cards, sweet synergies and interactions for folks who like to crack open packs and shuffle up stacks of Magic the Gathering cards. Wherever you've got me, maybe you've got me in your back pocket. Richie Dubs has probably got me duct taped to the snow shovel if he's out there scraping the driveway. Maybe you've got me next to the water cooler discussing the ongoings from the weekend prior. Maybe you're singing a song around the campfire, wherever you may be. I will thank you, folks, for dragging me along for the ride here this morning. But I've got to say, now is the time. It's time to move. It's the time to shake. It's time to shake in your seats. Tap your feet. Because it's time for the movers and the shakers list here this morning. We're going to be taking a look at the movingest and shakingest. Shake and bake, little chicken. Let's go. Modern Monday, Tuesday Pioneer, Wednesday Popper. Happy Palentine's Day. I love Popper. I'm actually excited because I wasn't. Where's Stefan? Where's the cosmic seeds? Where's the cosmic power? Where's my cosmic seeds, brother man? All right, we're gonna talk Popper today. So let's pop this stream into the VCR. Let's get hitting it from start to finish here. Hit it, don't quit it this morning. I appreciate you folks for tuning in. Let's go. Really nice to see you. You heard the one about the shark boning the stingray? Really? Stefan isn't here. He had sick luck yesterday. What do you get, 72 heuristic studies? The shark bone? No, I didn't hear the one about the shark and the stingray. Tell me. Do you have a date for Valentine's Day? Yes, it's February 14th, of course, Brody. Who always has a date on Valentine's Day? That is the calendar. And if you're a telephone and you're thinking of proposing this Valentine's Day, you just got to give yourself a ring. And candies that can't keep a beat are called candy wrappers. And one did one or say to the other, "You're so romantic." It sounds like a joke, but it isn't. The stingray apparently got pregnant from a shark in the aquarium. Oh my God. I thought it was a lead-in for a joke. I really did, Ed. Holy smokes, I'm going to have to look that up. Talk about news, right? Here we are hanging out this morning. Happy Palentine's Day to you folks. We're looking at the movers and the shakers list here for this morning, February 14th. Top of the list, the popper cards. Now let's see here. J'ai oublié ce que c'est. Qu'est-ce que c'est? Heuristic study. This one's for you, coach. Let's get some excessive buzzing here this morning. Hopefully you've got Brody on the desk at the office and people are tuning in. They're like, where the hell is that buzzing coming from? Qu'est-ce que c'est? Qu'est-ce que le feutre? Qu'est-ce que se passe? Nobody knows. Heuristic study on the top of the list here, going up, leading the way here. This thing's like kicking more field goals than a lot of people say this should be banned. Folks say this should be banned. Let me see. I got my very first heuristic study out of a prophecy box break over at the Dual Brain channel. An expensive card, but I think a prophecy box break packs were $25. The last time there was a box break over there, I got myself a heuristic study, and I'm playing it now, so that's pretty darn good. That's why I dropped that like a headline. Ha ha. All right, let's see here. You gonna play or lay? I want an egg Benny. I want some egg Benedict. It sounds delicious. You gonna pay the one? Am I gonna pay the one? Let me see. I will pay the one when the subscribership improves. I will pay the one. Where we got? What else we got here? We'll pay the $199 for the Enchanting Tales. I think there's a waifu version of it. Yes. And going back to the article that we read, I think it was Max that gave us the article about the waifu tax. This is definitely a waifu tax on this one. You're going to pay the waifu tax, not just pay the one. You're going to pay the waifu tax of $199. So that's a $150 waifu tax. And the anime borderless one here, that's got a $420 waifu tax on it. Most expensive version of it, of course, because from a new printing, the confetti foil. Let's confetti the Confederate foil, Enchanting Tales. This one used to be $93 and change. It was quite expensive. It was the leading the way. I think sharks and rays are generally genetically similar. Well, if they can procreate like that, there must also be a shark ray. I know. I want to see a shark ray. A sting shark or a shark ray? Can you imagine? Like, I mean, it's just one step below sharks with laser beams. It could like a shark with a little stinger on it. Insane shark rays. Okay, so many versions of this that you can spend. You can pay the full waifu tax. That's the carbon tax, the gas tax, the tax on tax, plus the one, plus the the other taxes to pay $450 for this one. The cheapest version of it. Wouldn't it be sad if the cheapest version was the prophecy version? The magic promo prophecy version. Yes, the original prophecy version. This is a $40 card. It's common. I think it's pretty great. How much is a box of prophecy, Dual Brain? I guess I didn't ask and I don't know. Rule 0 means pansies. That's right. Rule 0 means you're a pansy and you need to step back and go play at the casual kitchen table. Very similar and close, but the tree of life, burr, pregnancy, cross species is rare, especially viable births. Okay, so the original prophecy is the cheapest one. It was reprinted on the list, was it? Yes, of course. And then again in a mystery booster, Jumpstart got it as well with the original artwork. I think this is different coloring though. The coloring on this, look, you can actually see legs on this. I never actually noticed the legs on the other one. I just always noticed the head. But this is some Therese Nielsen art. Shout out to Therese Nielsen. It depends right now. They go from $750 to $1,000. Amazing. Quite expensive. So the Ristic, you want to pay the one. Also deemed as one of the most annoying Magic cards in the game. So the fact that it was printed in Pauper once, in paper, as a common at the very beginning of its very first printing, that means that this sucker will be once a common, forever a common. Right? Just like Brody. Once a commoner, always a commoner. You will never marry into the royal family. You cannot. Look at the price on chart on this one. $20 in and around just before Strixhaven, and then Modern Horizons 2 come out and took a little bit of a downtick in price. Now it's sitting at the easy $40. Let's take a look at the foil version because that one seems interesting. I bet you. So the other ones are so new. It's interesting to see whether or not the anime waifu confetti foil version is actually going to hold up over the long run because we don't have like a long history of pricing like this one. So long, see? So long. This has got a very long price history going all the way back to 2014. So we've got like it was a $20 card, a $20 common. So this, like, look at this. This thing has only doubled in price in the last 9 years. It was $20 for the longest time. Even in cons, it was $20. And then now, like, look over here. Look to here. War of the Spark, it come up to about 30, the all-time high. This has got to be insanely manipulated. This is for the foil version. Are we not on the foil? Yeah, we are on the foil. So now it's okay. $20 for the foil common 9 years ago, and now we're like 300. It took like a big pump up in price in and around Strixhaven here, and this sucker is getting getting a little bit of a downward trend here. My macho-ness, I'm a man. I can handle your turn 0 infinite combo game after game. Curating your EDH game isn't being a pansy. It's a fun hobby. Filter out unfun at your leisure. Valid point, Richie Dubs. Very valid. Unfun. Well, sometimes the fun police does have to show up, right? I mean, what happens if you're winning 97 games in a row? You're obviously doing something maybe unfun, perhaps. Decks using the Ristic. Every deck is using the Ristic that plays blue. It's not hard to understand that. And if you got blue, it's card draw and a stick. That and Mystic Remora is pretty much where you're gonna. Then call me a pansy. It is a casual format. I don't care about losing games. I really don't. It's fine. I will call you a pal. Let's not forget about the oubliette here this morning. I love Ristic. I find them often at the flea market. Forget to filter their comments. Interesting. Interesting. Oubliette. This is Arabian Nights card. It's 29 bucks. I think I have one copy of this. Let's have a look here. The commons, right? These are the common cards for the common person. Expensive commons, nonetheless. So we got one at $40 for the Ristic, and then we got this one at 38 for the Oubliette. This is basically creature removal and an enchantment card. It's been reprinted before out in one of the double master set, yeah, for buck something, and they up shifted to uncommon. But because it was once a commoner, always a commoner, just like Brody, the working man for the working man, always a commoner. Once a commoner, always a commoner, folks. The oubliette, basically, it's some removal. Here, when it enters the battlefield, target creature phases out until oubliette leaves the battlefield. Tap that creature as it phases out in this way. Ores and equipments phase out with it, and permanents are phased out. They're treated as though they don't exist. You shall not exist. Thou shalt not pass. Thou shalt not exist. Let's take a look at the chart on this one. This is Arabian Nights version. Pauper. Oubliette called the Black Lotus of Pauper sometimes. Really? Other versions of this card, he's got the A and the B. The difference between the Arabian Nights A and the B is the mana symbol. This one has a very dark mana symbol. This one has a light mana symbol. There's only $1 difference in the two. I don't know enough about the variants of Arabian Nights to know which one's more rare and which ones you want to look out for, but it's something to be paying attention to because you really want to make sure you don't overspend. On this card, there's only a difference between $1 on the A and the B variant with the different colored mana symbol, but I think in some other cards like Aladdin, those cards are quite distinct. All right, I want to take a look at a card for Benson. He says, Bob says Catabatic wins. We're going to take a look at that one here this morning. And then slip out the back. Let's take a look. Let's slip out the back. So first we'll go Catabatic wins. Catabatic wins. A Visions card. So we want to talk reserve list. We want to talk about cards. Like this is a card that was on Brody's bottom 10. It's $1.30. It's an enchantment with phasing. Creatures with flying cannot attack, block, or use any ability that includes tap in the activation cost. So creatures with flying are nerfed. So this is like a great card for green, which is generally leaves me weak to flyers. And then we're gonna go. This one's $1.30. Gotta have flying. Brody, I have been finding out there are way more types of Arabian Nights cards than just light and dark. For example, Stone Throwing Devils actually has 4 distinct types. Really? Not just the A and the B? Holy moly. Who knew that? I didn't know that. I think Stone Throwing Devils is one of those. Let's look at it. Is it a common? And then we'll run Stone Throwing Dirt Devils. I don't think it is going to come up. Yeah, it won't come up. It's one of those we can't talk about it cards here, but we can. We can talk about it. And okay, let's look out slip out the back. Let's slip this one in there. Slip out the back from Ravnica. It was also reprinted in New Capenna. Go figure. Slip out the back, instant speed, put a 1/1 counter on target creature. It phases out. Actually, that's quite good. 1 mana unsummon. I guess you get a 1/1 counter on it. It phases out. Treat it as though anything attached to it as though they don't exist until its controller's next turn. I was never here. A pretty good instant. Thank you for this, Benson. It's also a common. Was it ever printed in? So we got the Ravnica clue, Streets of New Capenna. Fedorable card. It's a fedorable card. You get the fedora on. Oubliette, also known. Check out the pic I just sent you. I will. I'll see what you mean about the stone throwing devils. I will check it out. Did you send it on Discord? I'm thinking, perhaps. All right, Dex using it. Commander Dex are using it. Yarok, the Desecrated. Miracle, the Lord of the Bones. Shoulder, the Apocalypse. Troxel, the Corrosive. I just texted you. Oh, Brain, I dropped my phone on Sunday. I put a hole in the back of it. So my phone is in the repair shop for 2 days. I haven't been getting any phone calls for the last couple of days. I should get it back tomorrow. So, like, I dropped it so bad. It was a Samsung S22, kind of an expensive one. I dropped it, and then, like, it didn't break the screen. It broke the back of the phone. It put a hole in the back of the phone like this big. And, like, I dropped it, and how's it feel being off the grid? It's actually pretty liberating, actually. It feels good. Off the grid. I know. It's craziness. I'm just interested to see how many different how did I do that? Well, I was listening to what was I listening? Was it Grand Theft World? I was listening to a podcast. Yeah, I think it was Luke Radowski. I was listening to a podcast, a Luke Radowski podcast, and I had it in the hoodie of my hoodie because I was wearing a hoodie, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm running equipment here. It's a little bit hard to hear, so I'll just fire it in the hoodie so that I can hear it real close by. I don't know. It seems kind of redneck, but that's how I roll. A little bit of redneck. So I throw the phone in my hoodie and I'm like running some equipment and I lean down and then it slides out of the hoodie and I'm like, oh no. And I like go to grab it. It hits my fingertips. It does a double flip. And then like there's a shelf there with a metal shelf with a corner on it. And like it did a little double flip and then it like hit on the flip and then murdered the phone. That was it. It went blank. It just like tapped right out. It went to sleep. Cool. You sent me the pic on the Discord. All right, we're talking. I'm gonna have to look into that because that's some interesting knowledge. Arabian Nights version. So keep an eye out. I'm gonna have to school myself up a little bit for that. Lotus Petal. Coming on number 3 of the list. Here's another card. This one, Snuff Out. Oh, I would love to get that in a mask. So you tried to save the phone, but actually smacked it into a metal piece. Yes, I tried to save the phone, and I have this indestructible, well, apparently not indestructible. I have this really, really murder-proof case. It's got rubber around it and like a metal frame. Happy Palentine's Day, my pal, Michael Superbagger. Thank you for joining us here this morning. Nice to see you, Palski. Another Palentine's Day friend here joining us. I murdered my phone on Sunday, so it's not all bad. They can fix it. They fix it up real nice. Mystery boosters, Lotus Pedal common, like the mystery boost, the boostery. All right, From the Vault Exalted. This was reprinted, $92 for the Lotus Petal foil. I actually, when I see this one in person, I don't like the look of it. I don't like this color for the artifacts. I don't like the border, especially in foils. I think they look funny. I like the nostalgic border myself. Tom Mitchell, happy Palentine's Day to you, my palski. It's been a spell. It's nice to see you, Tom. Thanks for joining us here on the morning stream. We're doing a little bit of a popper review here for you folks. Checking out the popper list, seeing what's moving, shaking, and what's earthquaking, toe tapping here this morning, and what's happening. We're looking at Lotus Petal. I got a little sip of coffee here. It's getting down there. I'm going to have to reload at some point. All right, cheapest version, not this one, the Kaladesh Inventions. One thing that I did, now I've got this video out there. It's the Why I Hate Rudy video, and it's actually got a lot of views. It's like my number one video. It's got like 6,000 or something views on it, and it's wild. But it's like, and this is like one of the reasons where like I mentioned in that video, it's like Why I Hate Rudy. Well, he said he was going to start buying Kaladesh Inventions, and like if you follow the guy for a long time, he had a box, and he's like, I'm going to start like buying out the inventions. So I was like, well, before that happens, I should buy one of every invention. I should just go down the list and like buy one of each of them. There were 30, 40, 50 bucks. There was even some more expensive ones, but I think at the time when they released on pre-order, the most expensive one was like $100. I think Soul Ring was 90 or something like that. I don't hate the guy. I don't. It's just some people got way too serious. I call him a pal. He'll be my Palentine. But it was one of the things where, like, he misled everybody saying he was going to buy out the inventions, but then he like bought all the sealed boxes of Kaladesh. So in response to when he announced that he was going to buy out all the Kaladesh inventions, I was like, well, I should buy at least one for myself, and it's turned out pretty good. So having one of each of the inventions, not bad idea, because like look at how far these things have gone. It's insane. The Mana Crypt and the Soul Ring by far leading the charge, but the Lotus Petal definitely. I think the Lotus Petal is going to eventually go to $1,000. Why wouldn't it? It's playable in Commander. It's playable in Vintage. It's playable in Legacy. It's playable in lots of formats. You can even play it in Pauper. So if you want to be the ballinest Pauper player, the ballinest Peter Pepper played a pound of pickled peppers with the petal. Peter Pepper picked a pack of Lotus petals. If you want to be a baller, you can always get the Kaladesh invention version of the Lotus Petal, but this is insane. It's $480, and the Mana Crypt has gone north of 1,000. So is the Sol Ring. So this thing is going to keep going and going and going. If you want to be balling on a budget, get yourself a Supra, and by that I'm saying get yourself the old regular Tempest version. $20 for the Tempest one. This is the one I play. I play this one right here, the Tempest OG right here. Don't want to talk about Lotus Petal invention. I sold mine for $250 quad 9.5. It was $150 at the time. Oh. Okay, so I'm not gonna an MK3 1988. Get yourself a Supra. I've done some dumb stuff in my life too, especially like plenty of dumb things. I made plenty of mistakes. I made plenty of bad beats. But don't judge me by my losers because I have so few. Judge me by my winners because I have so many. Okay, I had a bad beat, and I don't know, like, I traded away an ensnaring bridge of the Kaladesh inventions, thinking that one would be very easy to replace. And then it went from like $80 to $230, and then had to actually, I got in a lot of trouble for that. Mrs. Alfonso had to replace it. She's like, you never trade the inventions again. And then when I bought the inventions on pre-order, I bought 2 Soul Rings because I'm like, well, I don't know which one's going to be the hotness. I should have bought like 10 Soul Rings, but who knew? I bought 2 Soul Rings because I thought, well, that one should be good long term. And then I sold it back to the vendor store that I bought it off for 4 times what it was worth, and I vendored it into a Mox Ruby. So I bought the Lotus Petal for 100, and then I vendored it back to them at 480 or 470 a year and a half later or 2 years later, and then I got myself a Mox Ruby. The Supras have so much nutter butter. All right, so we're talking Pauper here this morning, the Lotus Petal. This is the one that I run, the very classic Tempest original printing of the Lotus Petal. It's the cheapest version. It works just fine. I think I've got a couple of copies sitting around here. So I would just keep that in mind. There's cheaper versions. Morning. There's cheaper versions of that card other than the inventions. You don't have to go all out unless you want to snuff out. This one here, snuff out. This is going to be a Mercadian Mask instant speed removal. Anything with an alternate mana cost is going to be good, especially in Commander. Free spells, always good. If you control a swamp, you may pay 4 life instead of playing snuff out's mana cost. Instant speed, target non-black creature is destroyed and can't be regenerated. Mercadian Mask, a good card. I think it's seen a reprint in Doctor Who, yes. But the foil version of this in Mercadian Mask, $176. So if you want to ball out, this is a way to do it. Foil snuff out. Let's take a look at the chart on this thing and see how far back this is going to go. Yeah, it was higher than it is now. It was $300 and around the Phyrexian All Will Be One, a card that I think I've kept my eye on for a little while. There's just no reason for it to be $1,000. I think that's a little unreasonable. I thought maybe it would come down a bit, but it's making its way on the Shakers list here again this morning, and it settled down to about $1.50. Yeah, $1.50. So that's not all too pretty bad. But again, I don't have this card. I don't have a single printing of it in any way. What is up with this? This is This is the Doctor Who variant. What is going on with these robotic? This is this a robot that's getting ready to choke somebody? A very creepy robot. The Doctor Who. Yeah, that's it. And then there's the Garuk for Liliana. Okay, snuff out. And then the anthology set. This one actually kind of some nice art on it. No, it's hard to find. 1K is where it should be. You think so? You think it should be at a K? You think this is underpriced? Very, very good. I used to do the out of that. I used to drift out of that mofo. Out of the Supra, right? If you're okay, so you're balling on a budget, get yourself a snuff out in non-foil. If you're not on a budget, then you get yourself the foil version, the Mercadian matte, dust to dust. This one has a couple printings on it, and this one from the Fifth Dawn is actually quite funny because it was printed originally in the dark, and this is an sorcery, a common. Remove 2 target artifacts from the game. I think it's like the original version of Force of Vigor, right? It only does artifacts; it doesn't do enchants, but it's actually quite good. Exile 2 things, and especially being artifacts, this can seem pretty good even in a multiplayer game. I would run this. Actually, I'm considering it as we speak. Fairly good, dust to dust. Another card from the dark and common slot, like these $10 commons, like Ristic Study for 30, dust to dust. The dust to dust, I think this Fifth Dawn version is even more expensive because fifth edition rather, because it's just look at this chart. Stock chart. Here. Is this a bullish pattern? Well, let's see. Dust to dust. It looks like it could be making a bit of a channel, maybe. I don't think this thing's going to settle down below $4. I think it's here to stay at the $6 or $7 mark. Probably the lowest it's going to go is about 4, but we'll see. Priest of Titania, an elf. Rebecca Guay art. I should buy this card. I should pick it up. The flavor win for the dark with ashes to ashes and dust to dust. There's an ashes to ashes? Ashes to ashes. There is. I see what they did there. Look at the art on this one by Drew Tucker. It's just like, I think I could draw that. I could probably muster this up. Actually, quite good. Good card. I see what they did in the Fifth Dawn. They get the Ashes to Ashes, remove 2 target non-artifact creatures from the game. Ashes to Ashes deals 5 damage to you. So exile 2 things. Actually, very, very cool, Coach. Why did I not know this? How did I not know this? You got the Ashes, the Dust. Very, very, very cool. Thank you for that. I learned a couple of good things here from you this morning. Thanks, pal. Priest of Titania. What more can I say? It's an elf. It costs a green and 1, and it makes 1 green for each elf on the battlefield. This even counts your opponents. Drew Tucker uses all watercolor. Pretty amazing that what he does with watercolors. Yes. And Tangle. Here's a card that says prevent all combat damage that would be dealt this turn. Attacking creatures don't untap during the next controller's untap step. I thought, okay, so this is like the fog. And then it's also got like a freeze effect. Quite good. Priest of Titania, the Rebecca Guay art. I think that one was on the movers and the shakers as well last week. And Ancient Den. These artifact lands from Mirrodin, I would say pick up a set. I mean, there's the Ancient Dun, there's the Great Furnace, there's a Seat of the Synod, there's the green one, and I don't know what the other one are, but these are great cards. I would say at the very least, some of these Mirrodin lands will be good. Tangle's great card. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at the Tangle here for Tom Mitchell. Ready to tangle here this morning? This one costs you 1 green and 1. I want to take a look at the chart on it. Is there any other versions of it? Invasion, and then the World Championship Dax. So there's only one printing of it, and in foil, it's $23. Why is this? How is this on the pauper list if there's no common version of it? Is it because it was printed in Magic the Gathering Online as a common? Game saver against million tokens. Yes, I see that. Tangle is worth a few bucks again. They were removed from the ban list for a minute. Oh, super game saver in a pauper matchup. Is this John Avon art? It is too. Fans of John Avon in the house here this morning. Another a Palsky. This is a very good card, and I think it was only printed in a common in Magic the Gathering Online. That's why this is now considered a common, even though there's only like one printing of it from Invasion, and then like the World Championship decks and Gold Border also play. Kind of a peculiar place for this card to be, in that its paper versions only have uncommons, and then online they've played it up down to common, shifted her. Look at the nice bottom on this one. The common, cool card, cool chart actually. This is a really nice looking chart. Pretty sweet chart. M25 took up about $8, and this is like a nice crescendo down to around the Caledime set, and then we got the Brothers War, La Guerre des Frères, right? Coming in up to about $8, and now it's ticking down again. I would say, like, as far as predictability goes, I would say that this sucker, this card, I mean, it could probably repeat this entire pattern again, unless, of course, it doesn't. But I would say it could just repeat this entire pattern and then continue like this in this slow, low, and growing swing pattern that we're seeing. Very, very nice, stress-free, carefree, happy little chart. Very nice. And then we got the Shield Sphere, another card that was made popular by, I think it was Arcades Sabbath, another card made quite popular. Look at that nice bottom. Exactly. Shield Sphere, a card that was made popular by Arcades Sabbath, and I know when Arcades Sabbath was spoiled, this thing spiked pretty hard. Has it ever gone back to what it once was? It was $10-12. Right before Arcades got printed, it was about $1.60, and now it's like $5. It's not on the reserve list, but it is from Alliances, like a lesser popular set, and it, one of those cards that just seemed really bad. A 0/6 wall for 0 mana. Okay, where are we going to play that? But then a card like Arcades comes along, and then boom. Every now and again, we get cards that allow creatures to swing with their butts, and if you're swinging those butts, well, the Shield Sphere, there's a giant that swings with its butt. There's the Shield Sphere, can definitely front bums. Shield Sphere, decks using it. Pride of the Hulklade, Arcades the Strategist, Joyra, Urza, Zozu, and Cake Takashi, Ver Bloodsire, Birgi the God of Storytelling, and all these other great decks playing it. And Merchant Scroll. Here's a bomb from Homelands. I love this card because it's from Homelands. Any other printings of the Merchant Scroll? Perhaps 8th edition. Oh yeah, I've seen this one around. It's actually quite nice. The 8th edition foil is $55. The scroll. I would love to be able to read what's written on the scroll. But this was a common from Homelands, and it still sees play today. Search. So this is a blue tutor, slow blue tutor. Search your library for an instant or interrupt. Reveal that card to all players. Put it in your hand. Now it says instant only. You can't get an interrupt because they errated interrupt and instants to be pretty much the same thing. So this one lets you go search for a blue instant, put it in your hand, then you get to shuffle your library. It's too bad it doesn't also draw a card like the arcane effects from Alliances, but nevertheless, this is going to be played on a lot of, well, I guess we're doing pauper lists, so this is a common blue instant, so something that all very similar chart to the Tangle. A nice soft bottom to this one. Vintage Pauper Pioneer Commander Legacy played in multiple formats. So the Blue Toot, very, very decent. The Merchant Scroll, I like it. How are you folks doing here this morning? I want to thank you all for joining me here this morning on the stock desk. I wonder if we got anything else in the news from the stock desk here. I'm going to take a quick look for you folks before we head out here this morning. Just one more news article here this morning for the Valentine's Day, February 14th. Folks, all the fans who love to crack open packs and shuffle stacks of Magic the Gathering cards, thank you folks for tuning in here this morning. I'm going to see if I get one more article here, but the internetulator is being a little slow. We don't want to be, I would like a Supra, actually. I could use an Eggs Benedict and a Supra. The interweb is really not cooperating here. Coffee's getting low. Surprised I don't have any dust to dust. And I don't think that this sucker is going to cooperate. Come on now. Come on, Google. One more article for you folks here this morning. I'd love to see something good, but I just got a blank screen. I want to play a sealed, even 3 packs of Fallen Empires and 3 packs of Homelands, worst sealed ever. Like a Rochester sealed could be fun. I would do it. Maybe we can use a different browser. Although I don't want to use a different browser, I could try a different browser. What's this? All right, we do have another one for you. One more article before we go. Let's get rolling to it. It's going to be a good day today. We're hitting up the stock desk for one more article, and this one seems to be quite okay. Overpowered MTG mechanic creates absurd metagame disparity. I'm thinking we're seeing a picture of the shardless agent here. Morning, Hot Dice. Thanks for rolling in the stream, pal. I'll do that over Spell Table with you if you can get a 4-player F&M, a Fallen Empires for that. Was this the Charlotte agent or Shardless agent? Are we talking Cascade? The past weekend, 2 massive regional championship events gave us a clear snapshot of what the modern metagame would look like in a highly competitive environment. Notably, these events took place soon after the release of Murders of Karlov Manor, giving us a chance to see the new cards in full effect. The leyline of the Guild Pack. This is the one that everybody's talking about, and the Surveil lens, the most heavy splash, quite quickly showing on the power of the new set. The big story this weekend through was sheer dominance of the Cascade strategies. Cards like Violent Outburst, this one here, yes, cascading for 3 mana. Our creatures you control get 1/0. You're just playing this to let's get the value off of it. The Violent Outburst shells have been heavily represented for a while in the format, and however, since banning Fury in Modern back in December, they've only risen in popularity, and the data from the regional championships is truly staggering. So let's take a closer look at how the Cascade archetypes are separating themselves from the rest of the pack. An immense present. This is the Crashing Footfalls, the Rhino deck. You cast this for free, right? Any suspend cards you can cascade into and just cast them right off the bat. Overwhelming presence of the cascade decks at these events is alarming, and in and of itself, at both the regional level and the championship level, the Teamer Rhinos deck is the most played. The deck's been strong choice for a while, but it isn't too surprising to see. However, the margin of the difference between the Rhinos deck and the second most played deck at the regional championships is Golgari Yawgmoth in both cases, rather extreme. So Golgari Yawgmoth is represented in just 10% of the field in Canada and just 12% of the field in the US. And the Teamer Rhino is, by contrast, with a deck of choice for nearly 20% of players, both regionally included. The numbers are massive for a modern event, and historically speaking, has signaled upcoming bans in many instances. Looking to see what we're going to see for bannings, because as soon as 20% of the meta is playing something we need to ban some stuff, right? It's just being over competitive. Okay. For example, it's nearly identical to the percentage of players that played Rakdos Scam at the Pro Tour or Lord of the Rings. When Fury was still legal, one of the most infamous decks all around from all time, Hogak the Arisen Acropolis, presented 21% and 22% of the field at the Mythic Championship number 4 before he also got banned. Additionally, the Team of Rhinos deck made an outstanding 50% of the top 8 field at the regionals in Canada. I know Garen Jotter is playing it, and he did quite well. So Team of Rhinos in and of itself is a massive present and is concerning. However, it doesn't even factor in the players who registered domain Rhinos with Leyline of the Guild Pack, Living End, and others at the event. Over 25% of the players at both regional events use Chargelin's Agent and Violent Outburst, with the intention of cascading into something powerful, which doesn't exactly signify a healthy format. Oh, it's a not so healthy format. An absurd win rate. Here's the leyline of the guild pack. Coming in, Magic Cousin Jimmy. Happy Palentine's Day. Thanks for joining us here, cousin. Are these small packs with 8 cards and 60 card box? Yes. Fallen Empires is 60 packs, I think, and 8 card packs. Cousin Jimmy says Homelands and Fallen Embers with 60 card packs with 8 cards. Yes, Alliance is a 45 pack box with 12 cards. That is the steal of the era. Very nice. We're talking about Cascade. We're talking about game mechanics, modern breaking game mechanics, and the Cascade ability, the Rhinos deck, and this card with an absurdly high win rate, the Leyline of the Guild Pack. And people want to play this card. The only small saving grace with regards to Team of Rhinos is that its overall win rate wasn't outrageously high. It had a win percentage of under 53% in Canada and a win percentage of below 49% in the US. And obviously, given the massive sample of players who registered the deck, it's unlikely the deck would have a win rate beyond 50%. And still, when compared to Hogak's performance at the Mythic Championship, it seems a little bit tame. With that being said, this was not the case for the Domain Rhinos or Living End. In the case of Living End, which it's funny because the Living End deck was like a Travis Wu deck that was pioneered by that player, who I don't think he plays Magic anymore, but it was sort of a popular deck back when Travis Wu pioneered it. So the Living End deck is very cool, and it's neat to see the Cascade Living End deck come back in ways unheard of. Okay, so 95% of 95 players playing the deck across the regionals boasted a win rate of over 55%. Is rather incredible with such a large sample size, and Domain Rhinos takes things even further. Featuring 15 players in the US and 6 in Canada, Domain Rhinos put up an insane win rate of over 63% in the US and 67% in Canada. This makes the best performing deck at both tournaments among the last 5 players registering them. While 5 players totally between the regional championships played Team of Rhinos, 2 more players played the Living End, and 2 played Domain Rhinos. This means that between the 16 players across the top 8 both tournaments, 9 of them played Cascade variant, and Team of Rhinos ultimately won the U.S. Regional Championships, while the Living End won the Regional Championships in Canada. If this doesn't showcase the pure dominance of the Cascade strategies in Modern, I don't know what does. All right. Additional metagame highlights. We got the tower, perhaps, the Tower of Power. Well, it's important to reiterate the massive level of success that Cascade decks had this weekend, especially Living End and Domain Rhinos. It's worth pointing out that the deck that had more mediocre showings overall, too particular in any way, were mainstays Boro Burn and the Mono Green Tron. Rather pitiful performance across both of the boards. Burn was registered by 43 players in Canada and the US, and both 45% win rate in Canada by an abysmal 31% win rate, and only 1 player of 13 making day 2. Holy smokes, only 1 Burn player making day 2 in an entire tournament. Oh well. Screw them if they can't take a joke. Similarly, Mono Green Tron was registered by 50 players and had a win rate of below 45%. Meanwhile, Domain Zoo, another popular archetype featuring Leyline of the Guild Pack, had a roughly 53%, 57% regional championship. In Canada, and respectively, this is further showcasing how strong the Leyline of the Guild Pack is right out of the gate. Ultimately, it'll be interesting to see any of the commonly shared cards among Cascade decks end up getting banned in the near future. It feels like the Violent Outburst has been on the thin ice for some time, and possibly that these tournaments were enough to push it over the edge and over the top. Either way, for the time being, if you plan on playing Modern, and having a game plan for these strategies is essential. If you're not well prepared, you're in for a lot of trouble. Okay, you can get them on packs. You can get on 3 packs despite the count. I like what is shaping up. Living End is a punk band. All right, it's about that time again. I want to thank you folks for tuning in. Happy Palentine's Day to you folks out there. It's February 14th. I'm here in the morning discussing prices, card prices, game interaction, metagame. Do you think we're going to see some banning in the Domain Rhinos deck, the Living End Cascade mechanic, pushing like 63% of the field? It could be an indication that we'll see some bannings. The bannings will continue until subscribership improves. Thanks you folks for watching. Make sure you go check out Brian Wiseman's YouTube channel over there if you are interested in old school, if you want to get some actual tech from a person who's pioneered the format. Check him out, the Brian Wiseman. It's some good videos up there. I took a look yesterday. It was very inspiring. And we'll be back on the air tomorrow to give you folks a little bit of Magic the Gathering discussion. I want to say the appreciation for everybody who's out there tuning in wherever you may be and wherever you're dragging Brody along this morning. Thank you, folks. Once again, let's turn it over to Ron Burgundy with some amazing jazz flute for you folks here today. Oh, Benson, you put it up a channel short every day for an entire year as of today. Very nice. Later, all my Palentines. Stone Pony, peace. This thing's dead. Need a reload. Yes, and a public shout out to Richie Dubs. Thanks for being a very funny source of entertainment, Richie. Appreciate you.